going to be killed. So who's going to train the younger population? And finally, he is indecisive and he does not want to fight. Mataji, you'll read.
Shall I read this?
Yeah. As soon as the shloka comes, please read. Huh?
Okay. Karpanya doshopahat swabhava prichhami tvam dharma sammudha chetah yacheyassan nishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham shadhiman tvam prapannam.
Now I'm confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me clearly what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So this is a very important shloka because Arjuna now is surrendering to Krishna. If you recall, in the first chapter, Arjuna is talking. Arjuna is talking so many things, right? And when we listen to Arjuna, we feel, yes, Arjuna is so right? Why should anyone fight? Because fighting is bad, killing people is bad. So he's talking on the highest grounds of morality. Even though what Arjuna says looks very nice, it's actually moral science. Be nice, be good, don't kill, don't hurt. That is actually moral science. And what we feel is, no, Arjuna is perfect. He's so great. And here is Arjuna, in spite of speaking all this, he's totally confused. So now he's surrendering to Krishna and he says, Krishna, I am confused. This is the mark of a great man because, it's very difficult for us to surrender to somebody. We can't say I am wrong. We'd never accept, I'm confused, I don't know. And here's Arjuna. Look at his qualifications. The greatest archer of his time, Krishna's dearmost friend, devotee of the Lord. And he's telling, I'm confused. And he's not telling in the privacy of a room. He's telling in front of crores of people in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He's telling, Krishna, I'm confused and I don't know what to do. So that's the mark of a great man. And he says this very important thing that I am confused because of miserly weakness. Now this word miserly, it's not been typed on the slide, but he says because of the miserly weakness of my heart. Now who is a miser? Miser is someone who is very stingy, and usually we understand a miser is very stingy with money because he does not know how to use his money properly. Now here in the human form of life, when we do not know how to utilize our time, then we are considered a miser because this whole human form of life is the biggest boon. Animals, if you make them sit for this Bhagavad Gita class, they'll not understand. They can't understand spirituality. But in the human form of life, if we do not know what to do with this human form of life and waste it like an animal, then we are considered miserly because we don't know what to do with this life and we have wasted it just like animals do. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. That's what animals do. And as humans, if we do the same thing, then it is so sad. It's such a tragedy, not knowing how to utilize your time and being so busy for the sake of being busy. And the end result is you've just wasted your life. And so Arjuna is telling, I have this miserly weakness. And in this condition, I'm asking you to tell me what is best for me. He's not asking what is good for me for this half an hour, what is good for me for this 18 days of battle. No, he's asking what's good for me ultimately, my ultimate goal, what is good for me. Because today, everywhere, everyone is finding some quick fix. I'm sad. Okay, let's go out and have a meal, hug somebody, drink a cup of tea. All these small short-term quick fixes is what we are searching for. And Arjuna is not wanting that. He says, Krishna, tell me what's my ultimate good. Tell me what's going to be helpful for me till the end, my ultimate best, what's very good for me. And not only that, I am your disciple. And if you understand this, the rasa is changing. Before that, they were friends and they were talking. It was a friendly banter, talking like friends talk. But here, Arjuna is surrendering to Krishna and he says, Krishna, please tell me, I am your disciple. It's no longer friendship. I am your disciple and I've surrendered to you. So please instruct me. So this is the mark of a great man. And this is the shloka of surrender. It's a very beautiful shloka because here Arjuna is surrendering to Krishna, and Krishna, like a great teacher, a teacher does not open his mouth till the student is ready. So in the first chapter, Krishna is not instructing Arjuna at all. The moment Arjuna is surrendering to Krishna, Krishna starts instructing. And even for us, this is a very important message that if we do not surrender to Krishna, we will not understand the message of Bhagavad Gita. Duryodhana also heard the Bhagavad Gita, and not a single word he understood. And here is Arjuna, he's surrendering. He's the first student of the Bhagavad Gita, and we need to follow Arjuna's footsteps. And Arjuna is surrendering to Krishna, and we should at least be in the mood. For us to be in Arjuna's position is very difficult, but at least theoretically, because right now, even we don't know who's Krishna, but Arjuna is telling Krishna, you are supreme and I'm surrendering to you. You are my guru. And so even we, at least theoretically, we should accept Krishna as our guru, because Krishna is the first guru for everyone. He's sitting in the heart of every individual. So he is the guru. So we have to theoretically at least surrender to Krishna. Okay, fine, Krishna, you're going to say something. So let me also give a clear, an oral reception to what you're saying. And let me, just soak in what you're telling. So unless we are in the mood of Arjuna, this whole Bhagavad Gita, we will not understand. And this is beautiful. Arjuna is surrendering to Krishna. If you see, this is very interesting. Krishna is actually older to Arjuna, right? They're actually somewhere near their late 80s, touching 90s. When this battle is going on, they have grandchildren and all that. And if you see Krishna, he looks even more younger than Arjuna. Both of them look young, but Krishna still looks younger. Krishna always looks young. He's always beautiful, like a 16-year-old boy, because he's not material. He's spiritual. Okay. So here is Arjuna surrendering to Krishna. So I believe what I see works when we have perfect vision. So now, first of all, we should try to understand who is this Krishna. Arjuna is telling Krishna, he knows Krishna's supreme position and he's surrendering. And for us to surrender to Krishna is so difficult. Why? Because we don't know who is Krishna. So who is Krishna? So who is Krishna? Krishna is the Lord himself. Okay. In this whole Bhagavad Gita, if you see, Veda Vyas has written this, right? And Veda Vyas is always telling Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Okay, he's not telling Krishna Uvacha anywhere. It is Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. So Krishna is the Lord himself. Okay, but we don't know who's Krishna. And in fact, Paras Muni says, what are the qualities of the Lord? Because, okay, Krishna is the Lord. So then why is he the Lord? Just not whimsically. He has these 6 qualities. So what are the qualities of what the Lord has in totality? Okay, in completeness. So the first quality of Bhagwan, if the Lord is there, he has got 6 opulences. And the first one is that he's the most beautiful. So all the incarnations of the Lord are very beautiful. But Krishna is the most beautiful. Okay. When he comes as Kurma, he's very beautiful. When he comes as Matsya, he's very beautiful. Even Narsimha is very beautiful. Okay. But Krishna is the most beautiful. So even in this material world, we see a lot of very nice people, beautiful people. We see beautiful buildings. We see a lot of beauty around. But Krishna is unparalleled. He's the most beautiful. Okay. So first thing is he's the most beautiful. The second thing, he's the richest. All right. So we see a lot of people who are very rich and we envy them and we say, oh, he's so rich and she's so rich and all that. But Krishna is the richest because he's the owner of not this one earth, but multiple universes. So everything belongs to Krishna. So he's the richest. He's the richest of the rich. Even when he was in Dwaraka, when he was there on earth, he had 16,108 palaces for all of his wives individually. Even in material terms, when he came, he was very rich. But otherwise, Krishna is the owner of all these universes, not one earth. Scientists have come to know only about these planets very late. But the Vedic knowledge, it talks about these multiple universes. And Krishna is the owner of everyone, everything. Everything belongs to Krishna. He's the richest. Then he is the most famous, even 5,000 down now. We are reading about Krishna. Why? Because he's so famous, right? Krishna is worshipped around the world. There are temples for the Lord and he's worshipped by his devotees. So he's so famous. He's known even now. And people bow down to the Lord. So he's very famous. Another thing is he's the most intelligent. Bhagavad Gita spoken in half an hour by Krishna. Arjuna understood this. And this is a book of knowledge. People don't understand, what is this Bhagavad Gita? This Bhagavad Gita is a book of knowledge. We go to so-called schools and colleges to get knowledge, but actually we have to open Bhagavad Gita. In schools and colleges, we are getting skills, not knowledge. Knowledge is anything that is taking me towards the Lord. That is what is the definition of knowledge according to Ishopanishad. And Bhagavad Gita is a book of knowledge. And for us to understand Bhagavad Gita, we may take a lifetime. So Krishna is very intelligent. Okay, so Krishna is the most intelligent. We see very intelligent people around, but we should just understand that's just a spark. Krishna is the most intelligent. Next comes Krishna is the strongest. Okay, so there's no one as strong as the Lord. Krishna lifted this Govardhan hill with the little finger for 7 days and 7 nights, right? And no one could do that. And as a small child, he killed this Putana when he was an infant. And when Putana actually died and she got her original body, it was 4 miles long. And they had to actually cut it into pieces and burn it. Okay, so it's not that Putana was just one small demon. 4 miles long. Govardhan hill is 27 kilometers. How can anyone lift it? Not possible. So Krishna has shown all these unhuman, unparalleled activities. So if you see that, just by listening and just by understanding, we understand, yes, Krishna is so strong. No one can beat Krishna. Every day, practically, he used to kill all these asuras, Agasura, Bakasura, so many. Every day he used to kill when he used to go to Vrindavan, and they used to disturb his pastimes. So Krishna is the strongest. And finally, the sixth opulence is Krishna is the most renounced. Krishna does not need anything. He does not need anyone. He is happy by himself. Read the Bhagavad Gita. Why? Does Krishna need us to read the Bhagavad Gita? I mean, Krishna wants, what is Krishna getting if we read the Bhagavad Gita? Nothing. He's renounced. What will he get if we chant his names? We are reading the Bhagavad Gita for ourselves, not for Krishna. Krishna does not need this. Krishna does not need anything. Krishna does not need food. We offer food to the Lord. Why? Is the Lord hungry? No. For our own purification. It's Krishna's mercy that he eats our food. It's Krishna's mercy that, he allows us to read the Bhagavad Gita, to chant his holy names for our own purification. So Krishna is the most renounced. He does not need anything. So these are the 6 opulences of the Lord in totality. So we see a little bit of here and there. So when we see anyone who's very beautiful, very rich, very famous, very powerful, very intelligent, very renounced, we admire those people, right? But we should understand that's just like a drop of water in the ocean, and Krishna is this huge ocean. So if we see anything, we should always understand, if this person is so rich, how rich is Krishna? If this person is so intelligent, it's just this drop, right? So Krishna has got all these qualities in totality. So that's why we should understand Krishna's supreme position. Otherwise, we will not be able to understand the Bhagavad Gita. So there are 3 ways in which we understand God. Okay, so there's a different class called atheists, and they do not believe in God. And there's a class of people who think, yes, the Lord is there. And so what is God? So I don't know who is God, right? So there are 3 ways of understanding God. So the preliminary understanding is, yes, God is there, but what is God? I don't know. So the first understanding is just like the picture that you see, you can see some outline, right? So it's actually a mountain, but then the clouds are there. I can't see the mountain very clearly, but I know there is something, right? So it's very hazy. I can just see the outline. And when I go a little nearer, I can see, yes, the mountain is definitely there. And not only the mountain, there are some trees on the mountain. So from far, I couldn't see the tree, but I can see the trees now. And not only the tree, there is something inside the tree also. There's life. There are birds, and they're doing their business. They're eating fruits. So as I go closer and closer to the mountain, I see so much of life. So from far, it was not visible. The more nearer I went, I see that there is life over there, and there's all sorts of activities which are going on there, right? So same way, when we think of God, there are 3 ways of understanding. First, preliminary understanding is that God is some light. And if you ask people, most of them say, yes, God is there. Who is God? God is some energy. God is some light. So that's the understanding of most people. And is it wrong? No, it's not wrong. It's right. But it's not absolutely right, because that's the basic understanding. Okay, yes, God is light, God is energy. Yes, but it's not that God, that is God. That's just a basic understanding. Okay, so that is, God is light. Yes, very good. You are a believer, so you know that there is some power which is higher than you. So it is a power. It is some light. Yes, that you're right. But then a better understanding is that the Lord has got 4 arms. Okay, so when you go deeper into spirituality, Krishna reveals that he has got 4 arms, and he is present in the heart of every living entity. Now, this is a revolution. I mean, I know there is some energy, and who is that energy? That is the Lord, and he is also present in the heart of every living entity. So no, it may be wrong. It may be, maybe he's in the heart of only the Indians, because the Indians believe in the Lord in four arms. So maybe he's present only in the hearts of the Indians and the so-called people who follow the Sanatana Dharma or Hindus, so it must be in their hearts. But Krishna is telling, no, I am present in everyone's heart. So am I present in the heart of the person who's fighting in Afghanistan? Yes. Am I present in someone who's present in South Africa? Yes. So I do not believe that there is Lord. Are you still present in my heart? Yes. So Krishna says he is present in this four-armed form as the Paramatma. Okay, so that's a better understanding of the Lord. It is a higher understanding that God is present in everyone's heart as the four-armed form, as a Paramatma, and he's seated in the heart. Okay, he's seated in the heart of every living entity. So not only humans, even animals, even plants, even the snake, even the lizard, even the rat, every life form that we see, he's present. So Krishna is very merciful. Everyone is his child. And have you seen this? Have you observed in the Vedic culture? It may be going now. If we touch someone accidentally by our feet, if I touch my dog with my feet, first of all, we don't touch anyone with our feet. We don't kick anyone, even a dog, right? And if we do that, we immediately do a namaskar. Why is that? Because the Vedic knowledge says that the Lord is present in everyone's heart. So every life form is sacred. Okay, so this is the second understanding of the Lord, that the Lord is present in everyone's heart as the Paramatma. Believer, non-believer, I belong to whatever so-called religion, rubber stamp that I have made, divided myself into black, white, male, female, dogs, cats, across the species. Everyone, Krishna is present in everyone's heart. And the third understanding, the highest understanding, is that the Lord has this beautiful two-handed form and he has got intimate pastimes with his devotees. So this is the highest understanding of the Lord. Okay. So the first understanding is, I'm repeating it because this is so important, because we don't know. We think God is some energy. Yes, you are right. But higher to that understanding is God is present as Paramatma in the heart of every living entity. And the third understanding is the Lord has got the two-handed form. This is the parrot Krishna. This is his real form. Okay. And he is present in this beautiful form in Goloka, and he has very intimate pastimes with his devotees. So this is the highest understanding of God. So who is God? God is, yes, energy. He's also present in the heart of every living entity. Not only that, he is a person. So Krishna is not some energy. He's a person, and he also has activities. Like I have activities, I have certain qualities. The Lord also has that. Okay. And we are all made in the image of God. So that's why even we have those qualities. We also want these relations. We also have all these intimate connections, right? So that is what is the highest understanding of God. So it is just like this light that we think of, right? It is the light which is emanating from the Lord's body. So this Brahma Jyoti, that is the first understanding of the Lord, because Krishna's body is so effulgent that there is light coming out. It's like the sun is there and the sun rays is there, right? The same way the Lord's body is also emanating this light. So this, yes, God is light, but God, that is the light of the body of the Lord. Okay, so Krishna's body is very bright, and so that light that is coming out, that is the first understanding. God is that light. No, God is not that light. It is the light is a part of God. Okay, so that first understanding is that Brahma Jyoti. Second is Paramatma, and the third understanding is the Lord has got intimate relation, a beautiful form, and has got intimate activities with his devotees.
देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरः प्राप्तिर्धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति.
As the embodied soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. So now Krishna is going to smash all of Arjuna's 5 reasons. So from Shloka 2.11 to 230, he's telling this. The argument is this. His Arjuna's argument is compassion. I feel compassion. This is my grandfather. This is my teacher. These are my uncles. And so I feel very much compassionate towards them. So Krishna is telling, what are you talking? You are not the body, you are the soul. So look at this. The first thing that Krishna says, he smashes Arjuna's argument. Arjuna is telling, I'm the body. And because of my body, I have the skin disease. I call this lady my mother, this man as my husband, and this girl as my daughter, because I am connected through my body. This is my bodily attachment, right? But I'm actually the soul. I'm not the body. You're not the body, you're the soul, because the body keeps changing, right? Like we all had a childhood body, right? And then we grew up, and then we became young, and then We're all becoming old every day, and finally, we will all die. So there is something which is not changing. What is changing? The body is changing. Yesterday's body is not the same body that is sitting in today's class. So many cells have died. And after a few years, practically everything changes, right? All the cells are gone and new cells are formed. But something is constant. And what is that constant? That is the soul. So that means what? Who am I then? Am I the body? No, I'm not the body, because my body, my boyhood body has changed. My youth body has changed. I have my old age body now. So then what has not changed? I still say I am this, I am this. When I see my photo when I was a child, I say that is me. So that, but actually that is not me, because the body has completely changed. Then why am I still telling that is me? Because the soul is the same. So the soul is the same. The soul is remaining constant, but the body is changing. The body undergoes 6 transformations. So first it is born, and the second transformation is that it stays for some time like it is. No, it grows. The second is it grows. The third is that it stays for some time the way it is. And the fourth is that it gives out some byproducts like children and all that. And the fifth one is it dwindles. And the sixth one, it dies. Okay, so these are the transformations that are happening to the body every day, every day. But the soul, nothing is happening. So the constant is the soul, the body is changing. And as soon as my body is not fit, it becomes old, I quit my body and my next body is ready. So this is revolutionary, because no college, nobody is telling us that. No literature in the world is talking about that. Everyone thinks, oh, this is your body, and once you die, everything is over. So no wonder, rip, rip, rip. As soon as someone dies, they say, rest in peace, rest in peace. What is this rest in peace? Only the body has died. The soul never rests. The soul can't rest. Okay, so as soon as I die, my next body is ready, and the soul immediately goes to the next body. So Krishna says, don't show compassion for the body, because the body is like a dress. Okay, as soon as the dress is old, you throw it off, right? And if somebody is drowning, if I show compassion for the dress and I pull out the dress, okay, I pull out the shirt of the person is dead, he's drowning. So I should actually feel compassion for the person who's drowning, and I should pull out that person. That is intelligence. That is compassion. Real compassion is for the soul, not the body. It's not that the body does not require maintenance. It does. But it's not that I only concentrate on the body, right? Because like the bird in a cage, the bird is more important than the cage. Of course, I can keep polishing the cage, but if I don't feed the bird will die, right? So the soul also, the compassion is for the soul, not the body. So Krishna is telling that. So this is revolutionary, because nobody knows this. No college is teaching us. In fact, everyone says we are a bunch of chemicals. Our body is a bunch of chemicals, but I'm not my body, I'm the soul. So Krishna straight away, when he talks, he opens his mouth. Look at the intelligence of the Lord. I mean, the Lord is definitely intelligent, but even as a lay person, even if we don't understand who Krishna is the Lord, Krishna straight away, from morality, he's taking the discussion to a spiritual platform straight away. First thing is, Arjuna, you're not the body, you're the soul. And so what are you talking about? The soul is eternal, but the body is temporary.
Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, na chainam kledayantyapo, na shoshayati marutaha.
The soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor can it be burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. So he's telling the properties of the soul. Krishna is telling the properties of the soul, just like you have in the periodic table, you have an element, right, of something. So then it has its properties. So these are the properties of the soul. Now you can't do anything with the soul. You can't cut it. You can't destroy it. So they had all these fire weapons and they had these tornado weapons in those days. Right now in modern science, we only have fire weapons, the nuclear weapons. These are all fire weapons, but they had different weapons in those times. But you cannot do anything. You do anything, throw any weapon, you cannot destroy the soul. The soul is eternal. So that is what Krishna is telling. Not only that, Krishna also talks about the dimension of the soul. The soul is 1/10,000 the tip of the hair. So what's the size of the soul? You take the tip of the hair and you cut it into 100 pieces. Okay. And then you take that one piece of that 100 and divide it again into 100. That's very small part is the size of the soul. So who is going to tell this to us? No scientist, because they can't see. It's a spiritual atom. So that's why we have to read the Bhagavad Gita. We have to listen to Krishna, because Krishna has made us. If I make a computer, if I want to understand the computer, I should go to the person who has made the computer, because he knows everything about the computer. Same way, Krishna has made us, right? So we have to understand what are we only through the Shastras, because no material science has got this knowledge. That's why reading this Bhagavad Gita is so important. So Krishna says that the size of the soul, and where is the soul present? The soul is present in the heart. So in the heart, two people are there. One is the Lord as the Paramatma, and another thing is the soul. And as soon as the soul leaves the body is dead. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, so you don't even be bothered, because the soul cannot, nobody can kill the soul, nobody can destroy the soul, and the soul is eternal. So now his argument about compassion is gone. So compassion for the soul, not the body. The second thing is Arjuna says, oh, there is no enjoyment. So Krishna counters it. He says, okay, fine. If you die, what will happen? You will go to heaven. Okay. So if you die, you go to heaven. And if you go to heaven, there's a lot of enjoyment. There's a lot of pleasure. The Shastras say the heaven, the enjoyment is 10,000 times more than that of earth. Okay. So you'll enjoy so much more. Okay. If you die, because you're going to heaven. And if you win, you are going to rule this whole earth. So there's only enjoyment. You're going to, if you win, you enjoy. If you die also, you're going to enjoy. So what is it that you're telling? There is no enjoyment. There's only enjoyment both ways.
Hato va prapsasi swargam jitva va bhokshase mahim tasmad uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya krita nishchayah.
O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up and fight with determination.
Avachya vadanshya bahun vadishyanti tavahitaha nindantastav samarthyam tato dukkha tarannukim.
Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? So Krishna says, not only that, first of all, you're going to enjoy, but suppose you run away from the battlefield. Nobody is going to say, oh, Arjuna, so compassionate, so full of mercy, and so he did not fight. They'll say, you ran away. Duryodhana is definitely going to say, Arjuna saw my army and he ran away. Karna, they're all going to laugh at you. And so it's going to be very painful. The higher you are in position, the fall is more painful, right? So Arjuna is not an ordinary person, greatest warrior, and he ran away. So till date, everyone will say, oh, Arjuna was scared. That's why he ran away. And this is going to be very, very painful.
Neha bhikramana shosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat.
So the next argument is that he says this is sinful. Arjuna says, oh, Krishna killing all these people is sinful. So Krishna counters it by telling that any devotional activity, in devotional activity, there is no sin. When we do a devotional activity for the pleasure of the Lord, then there is no sin. For example, here you have the scene of Vibhishan. Okay, so Vibhishan is over here. He left his brother's party, right? He left Ravana to help Lord Ram. And to this day, Vibhishan is worshipped. There's a temple for Vibhishan in Srirangam, where he is worshipped. So yes, some will say Kuladrohi and all that, but still it is not sinful. To leave his brother's side is sinful actually in material terms. But he is not leaving his brother for his own satisfaction. He has left his brother to satisfy the Lord, to help Lord Ram. So when you're doing it for the pleasure of the Lord, there is no sin. Again, here Hanuman has burned the whole of Lanka, right? Now burning somebody's property, somebody's kingdom is considered sinful. But here Hanuman is glorified. Hanuman is practically in India, everywhere you go, you find Hanuman temples, and he's glorified as the greatest servitor of the Lord. Why? Because even though he did this sinful activity, he did not do it for his own pleasure. He did it for the pleasure of the Lord. So when we do any service for the pleasure of the Lord, then there is no sin. But again, it has to be guided. It's not whimsically, all right? It's just like a soldier in the army. If he goes to the border and he kills the enemy on the Republic Day, he will be honored. He will get the Mahavir Chakra and all these Veer Chakra and everything. He's glorified by the government. He is honored. But the same soldier, if he goes to his village and he picks up an argument with his neighbor and shoots him, he's put into behind bars, right? So same way here, when you work for the service of the Lord, for the pleasure of the Lord, there is no sin. And this beautiful incident is there from the Puranas. This is a rat. Okay, so this rat is eating a cherry, and there's a big diya, that in the altar you have those diyas, right? So the diya is burning in front of the altar of the Lord, and this lamp is actually about to extinguish. It's going to burn off, and the wick, usually before it goes off, it looks like a big cherry, right? If the wick is thick and big, it also looked like a cherry. So this rat thought, oh, that's also a cherry, and it jumped on that lamp, and the oil splattered on him, and that rat died. Now this rat anyway died, but Krishna shows mercy on the rat because it died on the altar. So the Lord thinks this, because the rat died, no, it also got burned. So the Lord is thinking this rat is doing arti for him. All right. So any service that we do consciously or unconsciously for the Lord, for the pleasure of the Lord, Krishna always remembers. And so there is no sin. So there is no waste. All right. So actually this human form of life is meant to serve the Lord. We don't understand that. But any little devotional activity we do for the Lord remains, and it is not considered sinful. So for his argument of sin, Krishna says this. And when Arjuna is talking about destruction of family dynasty, he says, if I do not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put to ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings. So Krishna counters that, of telling about creating this Varna Shankara or unwanted population. So Krishna says that if you do not do your duty, you will create unwanted population, because you are a warrior. Now, as a warrior, if you run from the battlefield, you will set a bad example, because in future, everyone would say, oh, Arjuna was in problem. He found it difficult to do his duty. And he ran away. So tomorrow, even, students who are going to college or school, they will say, oh, exams. Oh, it's very difficult. I'll bunk it. I'll not give the exam. Why? See, Arjuna also ran away. So even I can. And fathers will, they can say, oh, why should I take care of the family? It's so difficult. So I'll also run away. Why? Even Arjuna will run away. So people will not do their duty quoting you. So instead of being glorious, you're talking about unwanted population. You are going to create unwanted population by giving a bad example, by setting a bad example. So you are a warrior. You cannot run away from a challenge. You cannot run away from a battlefield for the fight of justice, right? So if you will not do your duty, future generations will also not do their duties. So for the argument of creating Varna Shankaras, Krishna counters it by telling Arjuna, you are going to create Varna Shankaras by not doing your duty.
Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kuru nandana bahushakanantasya buddhayo vyavasayinam.
So those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are not irresolute is many branched. So this is Arjuna's argument. He says, I am indecisive. I cannot take a decision. I'm confused. So Krishna is telling, yes, if you are not following the Guru and the Lord, then you will definitely be indecisive. So when are we very focused? We are focused when our only attention is to please the Lord. And who talks about the Lord? Only the Guru. Okay, so the Guru is actually guiding us towards the Lord. So when we follow the words of the Acharya and the Lord, then we are one. Our focus is one. It is not multi-branched. Right now, for us to take any decision, many times is so difficult. Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do something else? I'm so confused. I'm actually confused because I don't know what's my duty. My duty is to obey the instructions of the Lord, and the Guru is telling me that, right? So Arjuna also, Krishna is reminding him as a child, when he had to shoot the eye of the toy bird, only he could do it. Only he could focus and do that. And so Krishna is telling that you have to do that. You have to follow. For us, this confusion in today's life, in today's material world, is so much because we don't know what to do, because we are not reading the Shastras, we are not following the instructions of the Lord. So naturally, we don't know what to do. And sometimes someone will tell us to do this, someone else will tell us to do that. My mind will say something else to do. And so I'm so confused. I'm only confused because I am not following the Guru and the Lord. So Krishna is telling, do that. And when you do that, you will not be diverted. Your focus will be one. Now this thing is Sthita Dhir Muni, okay? So now who is a Sthita Dhir Muni? Arjuna said, oh Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak? And what is his language? How does he sit and how does he walk? Now Krishna is telling him to be a Sthita Dhir Muni. So who is a Sthita Dhir Muni? Whose consciousness is merged in transcendence, who is only focused on Krishna. So basically who is meditating all the time on the Lord. Okay, so that is a Sthita Dhir Muni, one who is only meditating on the Lord and obeying and pleasing the Lord, following the instructions, and whole life only aim is to please the Lord. So now Arjuna is asking, so what are the symptoms of such a person? How does he speak? How does he talk? How does he sit? How does he walk? So this is what is Arjuna's question.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Prajahati Yada Kaman Sarvan Partha Manogatan Atmanyevatmanastustha Sthita Prajnasya Dochyate.
The blessed Lord said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of sense desire which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. So the Sthita Dhir Muni, he's in pure transcendental consciousness, He's only thinking about the Lord and not about the external, just like Prahalad. This is Prahalad Maharaj. So what is he? His father is planning to kill him every day. Every day, practically, it's a death sentence, okay? But he is not disturbed. Why? Because he's only meditating on the Lord. He's only meditating on Krishna. He is not bothered whether his father is planning to kill him, whether his father is going to try to burn him, trample him under the feet of elephants, or these poisonous snakes, or these demons. He's not bothered. Why? Because his focus is not on that. His focus is on the Lord. As a result, he is very, very happy. He's only focusing on the Lord who is present in his heart. So that's the state of a person who's in transcendental consciousness. Okay, so this is very interesting actually, because if you see over here, all the pleasures, okay, of the world is because of our mental concoction. Okay, so the Shastras are telling, because we don't understand this, the Shastras are telling there is no pleasure in material life. Okay, the pleasure is all the hallucination of the brain. This line is very important. All the so-called pleasures of the world are just a hallucination of the brain, and it lies in anticipation, not when the pleasure comes. For example, when we are very small in our houses, what happens is the parents tell the child, okay, when you grow up and when you go to your school, you will be very happy. Then we go to the school, all right? And all of us remember the first day of our schools, right? We all cried. I mean, everyone, most of us at least cried. And we just cried. And they said, no. If you go to school, you'll be very happy. And so we cried the first day, and then it was torture every day, so much to study, unwanted stuff. And, practically, what do we do in school? So much of torture, right? But we don't know anything better. So we think, oh, that's pleasure. And when we go to school, they say, okay, fine. Now it is difficult. When you go to 10th standard, you're a big boy or a girl, and then you'll be very happy. And you do your 10th, and then they say, oh, just finish your 12th. And then you'll be very happy because you go to college. And then you finish your 12th, and then you enter this college. And again, they say, oh, again you study. And then again, when you get your job, you're going to be very happy. And then finally you get a job. And then they say, oh, when you get your promotion, you will be very happy. When you get so much of money, you will be happy. And finally you get that. And then they say, oh, now when you get married, you'll be happy. And then you marry. And then they say, when you have children, you will be happy. And then they say, when your children are settled, you'll be happy. Finally, they say, when you're retired, you'll be happy. So this happiness that we're searching for is actually a mental concoction. Okay, it is there in anticipation, but it is not there otherwise. It's not there in reality. It is just there. It's a hallucination of the brain. Pleasure is always there in anticipation. For example, another example, we plan for this holiday, right? So we do all up, we book our tickets, we book that resort, and then, we imagine everything and we do our shopping and everything, and then we think, oh, when I go, I'll be so happy, and I'll be so happy. And so finally, we do go there. Yes, we take a few pics. It's not as great as we thought, because the pain of arranging everything, the holiday and the taking off from work and all that, and setting everything and then going there, and finally you come back. Yes, it was pleasurable, but not as much. We have observed that. And when you come back, what do you come back to? Your maid is missing. If you have a pet, it's always, not well. Your plants are almost dying. And your office, the work has piled up so much. Or maybe they've thrown you out of your job also. And for that 1 week of pleasure, right? So, it's all there in the mind. So this is what Krishna is telling. So this so-called pleasure, which is coming because of your sense desire, is only a mental concoction. And it is always there in anticipation, not in reality. And so a person who is in transcendence, who is spiritually elevated, is not seeking pleasure over there. He's not seeking pleasure in the external. He's seeking pleasure only in the internal. He's meditating on the Paramatma who's present in the heart, just like Prahlad Maharaj. And here is Prahlad Maharaj again. He's being burnt, but he's not being affected, right? So Holika is burning, but he's not even bothered. Okay, he's just meditating on Krishna. And so he's very, very happy. And here again, you have Prabhupada. Now, Prabhupada is in this very small temple in Vrindavan, and he is, there's nothing, there is nothing. He's actually on the roads, no money, no nothing, but still he's happy. Why? It's because he's meditating on the Lord. So that is the Sthitadir Muni, who's there in transcendental consciousness, 24 hours meditating on the Lord.
Dhyayato vishayan punsa sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodho abhijayate.
Now, this is very beautiful, because this shows how we fall down. Okay, so there are 8 ways, 8 stages of falling down. Okay, so this shloka, Mataji, will you read? I'll just move to the next one so that you can complete the shloka.
Yes. Krodhat bhavati sammohah, sammohat smriti vibhramaha, smritir bhanshat buddhinasho, buddhinashat pranashyati.
So how do we fall down? There are 8 stages. Okay, so it starts with, while contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment from them, and from such attachment lust develops, and from lust anger arises, from anger complete delusion arises, and from delusion bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. So we'll look at it once more. So what happens is, the senses get entangled with the sense objects. Okay, so we have all got these senses, right? So all our senses want some engagement, right? The eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue, the touch, everything wants to get engaged with something. So when these senses get engaged, with some sense object, then what happens is, it develops attachment. Okay, so then after attachment, what happens? It develops into lust. Okay, and from lust, anger arises. When lust is not satisfied, anger arises, and from anger, what happens is, there is delusion. Okay, and then there is bewilderment of memory, and when memory is gone, the last frontier is intelligence. Intelligence is lost, and we fall down. So let us look at it with an example. Okay, now a boy sees a girl, and a girl sees a boy. Okay, so now the senses are getting entangled. Okay, so the senses are using, the eyes is seeing something, they're hearing, they're talking to each other, so they're observing, so they're getting entangled, and because of this, there is attachment. Now there is attachment, and from this attachment, there is lust. Now there's it is not about lust between a man and a woman. It is with anything. Okay, anything is lust. What is lust? When I want to satisfy my own senses, it is called lust. And when I want to satisfy the senses of the Lord, it is called love. So in this material world, there is only lust, because all of us are trying to manipulate someone or the other, right? My boss, my colleague, my worker, my dog, my plants. I mean, we are all trying to just use something for our own sense gratification. And that is called lust. And what is love? Love is only in terms of the Lord, only with Krishna. I can only love Krishna, and I use everyone else. Okay, so in material world, even though we say I'm loving someone, actually it is lust. Every relation is lust. That is what Krishna is telling. So it is not like, oh, somebody is telling. This is the Lord. So we have to follow this, because I don't even know I'm not the body, I'm the soul. I don't even know the soul is present in my body. I don't even know the size of the soul. I don't even know there is a Paramatma sitting in my heart. I also don't know that after I die, I get another body. Even though I don't believe in reincarnation. I don't believe in God. Doesn't matter. You fool, you bother, or you understand, you don't understand, doesn't matter, because that's the law. If somebody if a dog jumps if I go to the 5th floor and if I jump down, I don't know the law of gravity, I still will fall, right? Even though knowing and not knowing, it doesn't matter. That's the law. So this is the law. This is a spiritual law. And the law is that everyone is using everything else in this world for his own sense gratification. And that is called lust. Okay. And when we use it for the satisfaction of the Lord, it is called love. So man sees a woman, and then what happens? They get attached. The senses get entangled. They get attached. And then they say, I love you and you love me and all that. But basically, they're trying to use each other. Okay. And then they get married. And after marriage, what happens is the man feels, oh, this wife, she's not listening to me. She used to be so nice before, and now she does not. And now she's complaining and she wants so much. And I'm working so hard and she's never happy and she's nagging me. And the woman thinks, oh, this man, all the time I'm working for him and he's not happy. And, he's no longer so loving and all that. So there's a friction. There's a friction because their senses are not getting the pleasure that they thought they had, right? So then because the lust is not satisfied now, I'm not getting what I want from you, I get angry. So when lust is not satisfied, it changes into anger. Same love is now changed into anger. And from anger, what happens is there is delusion. Okay. So then after delusion, then the memory is lost. Okay. The memory is higher. Okay. So when this memory is lost, memory is higher than the senses. So when the memory goes off, finally, the last protector is intelligence. And finally, even the intelligence goes off. Okay. And the same people who were so loving, they end up in divorce. And suddenly when we hear, oh, they got divorced, it didn't happen overnight. Okay. There were 8 stages. Sometimes we hear, oh, somebody became a drunkard. He's a drunkard. It's not that he had one drink and he became a drunkard. There are 8 stages. Okay. So these are the 8 stages in which we fall down. Objects of the senses get attached, and attachment leads to lust because you want to enjoy. And when this enjoyment is stopped, when you're not getting this enjoyment, it leads to anger, and anger leads to delusion. Delusion is you start seeing what is not there. Okay. And then finally your memory is not there. Your memory is bewildered. And then loss of intelligence, your intelligence is lost. And then finally you fall down. Okay. So this is the 8 stages of falling down. So beautiful. This is so beautiful, and only when we read the Shastras, when we read Bhagavad Gita, we are able to understand that how we fall down. So now then what should I do then? So my senses, what should I do? My eyes want to see, my ears want to hear, my nose wants to smell, my tongue wants to taste. So should I just block it off? No, use it in service of the Lord. Right now, our eyes are seeing the screen. So the eyes are getting engagement, because it's not that, oh, eyes should not see because, it will get entangled and then I will fall down. No, it's not that I blindfold myself, right? Like Gandhari. No, you see, but what do you see? You see Krishna, you see Bhagavad Gita, you see, you see the deities. So right now our eyes are getting engagement because it is reading the Bhagavad Gita. So it is seeing the message of the Lord. Ears are hearing, the tongue is speaking, right? So all the senses are getting engaged, and the mouth wants to speak about the Lord. We're reading Bhagavad Gita. So we all want to talk. Otherwise we will talk about some mundane thing, some gossip. But now the tongue is also getting engagement. And after this, we will have breakfast. So what should we have? Something like this? No, we should offer the food and eat prasad. So the tongue is also engaged. So when all the senses are engaged, then what happens is we are constantly meditating on the Lord and we do not fall down. Otherwise, we will fall down. So this is the way. So no, so it's not, Krishna is very practical. So he does not say, don't see, don't hear, don't do that. No, see, but see the Lord. Your eyes should be reading the scriptures right now, like it is engaged. Give that engagement, give it constructive engagement, and you will never ever fall down. So this is the chapter for today. Arjuna, Krishna's solution, he says compassion. Arjuna says, I have compassion. So Krishna says, don't have compassion for only the body, have compassion for the soul, because we are not the body, we are the soul. He says there's no enjoyment. So he says, if you go to heaven, you will enjoy. If you win, you will rule the whole earth. Again, you enjoy. He's scared of sinful activities. And he says in devotional activity, there is no sin. He's indecisive. And so Krishna says, when you serve the Lord with firm determination, there is no indecisiveness. And Siddhartha Muni is a person who's in pure transcendental consciousness. He's not engaged in worldly affairs, but he's always meditating on the Lord present inside. And he also talks about destruction of dynasty. And so Krishna says, be a role model, otherwise you will create Varna Shankaras. So we end and we're open to questions. You can unmute, you can raise your hand. The digital hand is there, right? So you can actually raise your hand and they will unmute you, the co-host. Or you can also type, so you can also unmute yours. If you raise your hand, they, the co-host will unmute you. Purnima Mataji, you're taking the questions?
Raise your hand, Koti Mama. There.
Purnima Mataji, are you taking the questions? Okay, I will just unmute.
I'll take.
Yeah.
Okay.
And people have raised their hands also, if you can do both simultaneously.
Yes. Suchita Rao Mataji, you can unmute yourself and raise your hand and ask your question. Sorry. Sanchita Rao Mataji.
Hello. Am I audible?
Sanchit Rao Prabhuji.
Yeah, Sanchit Rao.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, Prabhu.
Am I audible? Yeah.
Your voice is not clear,
my...
Prabhu. Please speak
Okay,
loudly.
just a second. Am I audible now?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. My doubt was, in the end, you said that if we engage our, we should engage our five senses towards Lord, and that's the solution. But I mean, during the day, in 24 hours, you're working. We're doing other stuff as well. So that's when, I mean, we are not actively. We are not then praying or doing. Or praising the Lord in that sense, as in we are working or we are talking to someone.
Yeah.
Then our senses get diverted, right? Then we have to cook food and
yes.
Like, then what happens? Then
yeah, it's a very good question. Okay, so this is going to be dealt in the chapter karma. Okay, so we are going to because this Bhagavad Gita is talking about karma also. So Krishna is telling, okay, do all. In the karma chapter, he will be talking about the chapter 3 and 5 about how to work in Krishna consciousness. Because right now, we don't even know who is Krishna, and then Krishna is telling, okay, everything has to be done for him. So it's so difficult, right? We don't know. I mean, who is thinking of Krishna? Only that 5 minutes that we actually, maybe do some puja and that's about it. And then nobody's thinking about Krishna. So now Krishna will actually this will be dealt in the karma chapter. So we will get into the depth of it over there. So I request you to kindly just stay for that, because it looks so impractical, right? Because we think work is actually worshipping the Lord is only doing some meditation, going to the temple. But Krishna is actually telling Arjuna that you fight for me. So when you're actually fighting, you're actually working for my pleasure because it's on my order. So Krishna also tells us how to work. And this is going to be dealt in the karma chapters. So how we work, we have to work because there is no way we cannot sit without working. So Krishna, actually Arjuna in tomorrow's chapter says, Krishna, you have confused me. Should I fight or not fight? So that is again his question. And Krishna will talk about that in tomorrow's chapter. So please stay on there, because I don't want to, it's a chapter by itself. How do we work then? Because I'm dealing now, I work in a college. Now at the moment I step out, I'll be dealing with everyone else. So where is Krishna coming in the picture? So then Krishna says, how do you make your work worshipable? So that will be dealt in that chapter. So please stay on, because it's a very interesting question and it's going to be answered.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Vishalakshi Mataji, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Vishalakshi Mataji. Vishalakshi Mataji. No, she's not there, I think.
We'll take up the question from the chat box, Mataji.
Oh, yeah. Will you please say?
Yes. Mataji, this question is from Rao Prabhuji. Please explain Varna Shankara again, Mataji.
Okay. Varna Shankara is basically untrained population. So what is an untrained population? They don't know what's their duty, right? See, for example, we also don't know what's our duty. So we are basically just leading our lives, just like even animals, they're also leading their lives. They're also very busy. Whole day, if you see, the birds are also very busy. The dog is very busy. The tiger is very busy. The elephant is also very busy. The ant is very busy. Everyone is very busy, right? And even we, in this human form of life, we are very busy, right? But then we don't know what is actual work. What is the whole purpose of this life? So Varna Shankara is basically a population which is not trained, because this human life is very precious and they have to be trained not to lead a life like an animal. Now, who is going to train these people? The parents, right? The parents are very important. And here the father, usually the father goes to the Gurukul. The boys, we used to go to the Gurukul and they used to learn about this spiritual knowledge, right? And so when they came back from the Gurukul, if they wanted to become householders, they accepted the wife and had a family, and they would train the children, right? So they are there to train the children and also to help the wife, because the wife didn't go to the Gurukul. So she was taught by the father and then later on by the husband. Now, if the father is not there, now who's going to train the children? Again, the women are left unprotected, right? So then what will happen is there will be total chaos, right, in society, because here you have children who are not trained, women who are not protected. Then what will happen, right? So all the traditions, everything will be lost, right? So this human form of life, which we get after 84 lakh species, in fact 80 lakh species, because 4 lakh species are only humans, it's all lost, right? So then this will lead to unwanted population. And who's the cause of this unwanted population? Arjuna. That's his dilemma. So Varna Shankara is basically untrained, unguided population. And in Kali Yuga, we are all that. We are not trained. Nobody's training us. Nobody's telling about the Bhagavad Gita. What is the purpose of your life? First of all, no, we also don't know who am I. I feel I'm Rashmi Bandari. I'm an Indian. So these are the designations that I have put for myself, right? I'm a South Indian, and I'm here, and I work in a college and blah blah. So that is not me, right? So who am I? Who is my real identity? I'm the soul. So this knowledge itself is not there. In fact, human life starts with this knowledge that you're not the body or the soul. And today we don't even know that. So we are also Varna Shankaras. And no wonder wherever we see, there is mismanagement. There is nothing is going right? This whole earth, we've just destroyed. And we don't even know what's going to happen after another 100 years, whether it's going to be fit for living or not, because we have destroyed nature, we've destroyed water bodies, plants, everything. Even look at us, our families, kids are there somewhere, old people are somewhere, everyone is, here and there. And why is this? Because the population is not trained. We do not know what is the goal of our lives, right? And then only I can work towards it. So Varna Shankara is basically untrained population.
Yeah. Mataji, this question is from Vishalakshi Mataji. Mataji, the question is, how will the soul reach Krishna?
The soul reaches Krishna. See, the soul, what does the soul do? See, as long as I don't want Krishna, I cannot go back to Krishna. Okay, so Krishna, just like, to get into admission into a very prestigious college, or, if I have to clear the IAS, there's so many filters, right? I have to be qualified to become an IAS officer, or to get an admission into an IIT. So even in material world, to get into a reputed institution, it's very difficult. So go back to Krishna is not easy. So what is required is first the desire to go there, and then of course I start the process. So I have to be purified, because in Goloka all the devotees are there. Now if a demon like me goes there, I will only disturb, right? And anyway I don't want Krishna. So Krishna, I am not qualified to go there. So how does the soul go to the Lord? Is when it desires to serve the Lord. For that, it should first know who is Krishna. Then only I will want to serve him, right? If I don't know Krishna and his exalted position, and who am I and what is my duty, then I would not even know how to go and how to go there. The desire will not come to go there. And also how to go there also I don't know. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna then tells, now we know who is Krishna. He's so exalted. In every position, every chapter, we come to know more about the Lord, and also who are we. And then also Krishna says, how do we come back to him? So how do we go back to the Lord? How does the soul go back to the Lord? Only by devotional service, only through bhakti. Okay. So Krishna talks about karma. He talks about jnana. Okay. And finally, it is the he talks about Ashtanga Yoga. Finally, it is bhakti. Only through bhakti, only by serving the Lord, I can go back to the Lord. Otherwise, I cannot go back. So till the soul does not become servitor of the Lord, it can never, ever go back. It will just be taking birth, transmigrating from one body to another, from one species to another, from one planet to another, trying to enjoy itself. Finally, some buddhi will come, after so many experiential learning, so many millions of births, finally will say, oh, fine, this is exhausting. I'm not happy. And finally, such a soul surrenders to the Lord. And when the soul surrenders, it wants to serve the Lord. And only through serving, only through bhakti, we can go back to the Lord. Otherwise, we can't.
Mataji, this question is from Balaji Prabhuji. How can a common person find I am soul? This is more on a belief system. How can we find our soul?
So we don't have, it is not a belief system. First of all, I don't know I am the soul, right? Only when I read the Shastras, I feel I am the soul, because everywhere it is told I am the body. So everyone is take care of your health, do this, do that, work hard, because you need food to eat, you need this, you need that. So yes, it's not that it is not important. So Krishna is also not denying that. In fact, the Shastra tell how should we spend our time. 8 hours for work, 8 hours for bodily maintenance, and 8 hours for spiritual sadhana. So that's the way 24 hours have to be divided. And also, it's not that. Please tell the question again.
Mataji, how can a common person find I am a soul?
Yeah, so the common person can find I am the soul only by reading the Shastras, because otherwise we can't, right? Nobody is telling us you are the soul. Everyone is telling you are the body. So take care of your body. So everyone in the morning, instead of reading the Bhagavad Gita, they're all running and exercising and all that. So does that mean the body is not important? Yes, the body is important, but it's just a means. The most important part is the soul. So how do I understand? How does a common person understand that you're the soul? Is only when you open the Bhagavad Gita, only when you open the Shastras. Otherwise, no, we don't understand. And this Bhagavad Gita is meant for common people. If you see, Arjuna is a grahastha, he's not a sannyasi. He's not. And if you see Krishna, even he's a householder, right? So this Bhagavad Gita is for common people, for householders like us, right? It is meant for householders. We don't know who is Krishna. We don't know who are we. We don't know we are the soul. So only when we read the Bhagavad Gita, that's why reading this Bhagavad Gita is so important, because straight away when Krishna opens his mouth, he says, you're not the body, you're the soul. So that means what? Oh, the soul is more important than the body. So that means I should do something for the soul. Who is the soul? So only by opening the Bhagavad Gita, we understand. A common person will understand only by opening the Bhagavad Gita that who are you? You are not the body or the soul.
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, this question is from Swapna Mataji. Mataji wants to know, is suicide a sin irrespective of any reason?
Yes, because actually later on Krishna will talk about that this body also is not belonging to us. I think this is my body, no? Later on Krishna says, how are we made up of? We are made up of these 5 elements, okay? Earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Then there is the subtle body, that is the mind, intelligence, and ego, right? And everything belongs to Krishna. Okay, so I think this is my body, and that's a material misconception, because I feel this is my body, but actually this is not my body, because I am the soul, and this body is given to me by the Lord. Okay, it's not given to me by my parents, it is given to me by the Lord. It's Krishna's mercy. Of course, through parents I am born, so that is immaterial, but the Lord, God is giving me this body to use it for his own service, for the service of the Lord. What is the jiva? The jiva's duty is to serve the Lord, and this body is being given to serve the Lord. Every part of my body is to be used in the service of the Lord, and I think I am the body. And so whenever any difficulty comes, I think, oh, it's fine, I'm killing myself, right? So what's the big deal? I kill myself. So even if I kill myself, what happens to such a person? A life, suppose I've got 100 years to live and I commit suicide when I'm 35. Okay, so then what happens? I have another balance of so many years to live, right? I don't even get a body. I am just lingering. I'm lingering, and then and that's a fearful existence. Okay, when you have all these unfulfilled desires and you want to fulfill these desires, but you don't have a body. The body is a medium through which I can fulfill my desires. In fact, everyone gets a body to fulfill the desire. The dog gets a body like a dog to fulfill its doggish desires. A monkey which wants to jump from tree to tree is getting a body of a monkey to fulfill its desires, because the monkey wants to jump from one tree to another. As a human, it can't jump like that. So Krishna is very merciful. The bird wants to fly like that. As a human, I can't fly like that. So Krishna is very merciful. He gives everyone the body that they desire to fulfill, a body that can be used to fulfill their desires. And this human form is the only form where we can use this body to fulfill the desires of the Lord. Okay, and because our only work is to serve the Lord, and so when we commit suicide, and so it's a gross misuse of this human form of life. So the next life, it is not going to be a human form of life. So you will still linger till you finish the existing portion of your life, because you do not get a body. And after that also you get into a very hellish sort of like and then finally you will again start off your evolution, from the lowest species, and then again 84 lakh species, and finally you get a human body. So it's not that, like the material world says, oh, you die, so the body is gone, so everything is gone, so there is no problem. You're actually increasing your problem. As such, there is enough of problem, and by committing suicide, you're actually increasing more problems. So suicide is not recommended. That's why when we read the Shastras, then we understand, because nobody is otherwise talking about suicide. They think, oh, it's okay, he committed suicide, at least all his sorrow is over. No, his sorrow is not over. His sorrow is multiplied. So that's why we have to read the Shastras.
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, this question is from Manoj Prabhuji. Prabhuji wants to know why Krishna preached Arjuna to stand and fight the war.
Because Krishna wants everyone to do their duty. Arjuna's work was is a Kshatriya. Now, Kshatriya gives protection, and he gives justice, right? All these unwanted people. See, if there is no Kshatriya, there will be all these people who are not trained will take over. Now, Duryodhana, if he rules, there will be havoc, right? See, as such, Duryodhana, what does he do? He has actually done all these sinful activities which should be punished by death. Okay, in the Shastras it is written, you can kill someone if they take away your wife, if they poison you. Bhishma was poisoned as a child. Okay, and then if they burn your house, they burned them, right? Their houses, that house of lakhs, they burnt it, right? So they've done every activity and they plundered property, and they took over the land illegally. So every activity of Duryodhana was worth killing. But Krishna, just because the Pandavas were very merciful, they just agreed. Finally, their justice should be there, right? Because if a king is so unjust, right, the whole population will be also very troubled. So the population should not be put into trouble because of an unjust king. So this unjust king has to be removed, right? So Krishna wants to protect everyone. So that's why he encourages Arjuna to fight. So the question was, why is Arjuna told to fight, is it?
Yeah, why Krishna preached Arjuna to...
because he has to do his duty. A Kshatriya has to fight. So it is not like non-violence that we think, oh, don't kill, be good, be nice. If you read the Shastras, you understand Krishna is telling warrior has to fight. Kshatriya, as an administrator, you cannot do away with not fighting. It is just like in the border, if our the army people say, oh, we feel very compassionate towards the Chinese and the Pakistanis, and we will allow you to come, and it's all right, killing is so sinful. And if they do that, we will say, what are you doing? Do your duty, because if they come in, who will protect us? They will kill all of us, right? So everyone's duty you have to do. So that is why this Bhagavad Gita is so important, because it is telling everyone to do their duty. And most of the time we think that just by reading the scriptures, I will not do my duty. I'll become lethargic and I will start chanting. I'll read the Bhagavad Gita and I'll sit at home. I will go to some Himalayas and, I will not work. Krishna is on the other hand, that is what actually Arjuna wanted to do. I will not fight. And Krishna is saying, hey, you're a warrior. Come and fight. Don't run away. So Krishna is actually encouraging not only Arjuna, but every one of us to do our duty. So if you're a Kshatriya, you have to fight. If you are a Brahmana, you have to preach, right? And if you are a Vaishya, you have to engage in Goraksha, and earn money that way. And if you're a Shudra, you have to help all the others. So nobody should sit idle. So Krishna is against that. So that's why it's his duty to fight, and you have to fight.
Mataji, this question is from Smita. Mataji, should we decide on our karma or leave it on fate? Like how...
We have to do our karma, right? There is nothing called fate. Where is fate anywhere written? There is no fate. It is all about our karma. I am deciding my fate by my karma. For example, today's Bhagavad Gita class did not happen accidentally. It was very well planned, right? So much of work has gone. It's not that, oh, it was fate that, we are sitting in this class. No, you also did something, right? You clicked on the link, you joined the WhatsApp group, you were active, you got up in the morning, you made time for this. So it is not fate. So who's talking about fate? There is no fate at all. It is all about your karma. And who's doing this? Who is creating this fate of yours? You yourself. So what I decide today, what I do today will decide my tomorrow. So yesterday, if I've decided to get up and attend this class, I would have put in some effort, right? Kept the alarm, got up at 6, clicked on the class and got into the class. So how is it fate, right? So you have to plan, and I do my work, right? I plan and I do my activities, and that determines my tomorrow. For example, like, whatever we do, suppose somebody does clears an IAS exam. It is not that he just cleared it. There was a lot of effort that went into that, right? So he did his karma, and as a result, he got it, right? Yes. So I'm deciding my body. I'm deciding my next life by all the activities I do. For my next body, like Krishna is talking about the soul, and as soon as the soul leaves, the next body is created. Is it fate? No, I have chosen to live the way I want to live this life, and as a result of which my next body is created, not whimsically. All right. It's not that, oh, now you become a dog, you become a cat, you become a human, you become an Indian, you become blind, you become paralyzed, you have diabetes, you have this. No, I am deciding. I'm creating. Every minute I'm creating my karma, and as a result, my next body is created, my next thing is created. So I am very consciously deciding it, and Krishna gives us his free will. Krishna is not imposing himself. He can make all of us devotees in 1 second, but no, he's not imposing. Even with Arjuna, he says he's giving him all this counsel, and then he finally says, you decide whether you want to fight or not. So he gives us his free will, and even he has given us also this free will. Humans are given this free will, and we decide our karma. And because of that, everything is falls in place. Dog does not decide its karma. It has decided, it's already led an animalistic life, so it has to bark. It can't sit for the Bhagavad Gita class. Even if it doesn't want to bark, when it sees another dog, it has to bark. Okay, but humans know. For us, this free will is given, and we decide. We are given that choice.
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, this question is from Balu Prabhuji. God is everywhere. So for what reason we need to go to temple?
Yeah. So why is it that we should not go to the temple? Because if God is present everywhere, why is he not present in the temple also? Because this argument is there. Okay, God is everywhere. So why should I go to the temple? But who said God is not there in the temple? Right? He's there in the temple also. So why should I not go to the temple? Okay, that's one argument. For example, air is everywhere, right? So why don't I fill my car with the air over here? I can't fill my car tire. I have to go to the to the petrol bunk, and in that air thing only I have to fill it, right? Yes, God is present everywhere, but in the temple, he's present personally. Okay, so about deity worship, Krishna will talk about later. So the deities are non-different from the Lord himself. Okay, yes, God is present in the atom. He's present in this laptop. He's present in the wire. He's present in the air. He's present in my heart, but I can't perceive it, right? I can't perceive it. Yes, he's there, but I've not reached that stage where I can see him everywhere. So that's why I go to the temple, because in the temple, it is not an idol. It's the deity. There's a difference between the deity and an idol. So the Lord is present in the form of the deity. It is a personal form of the Lord. It is non-different from the Lord. Just like when I chant the Hare Krishna mantra, when I say Krishna name and Krishna form is non-different. Same way, the deity is non-different from the Lord himself. It is the mercy of the Lord that he's present. So his presence is there. And I, in my neophyte stage, in my the stage where I don't know who's the Lord, at least Krishna has given me that mercy that I can go and see him. So that is why going to the temple is so important. Yes, he's present in my house, he's present in the air, but I can't perceive him. But when I go to the temple, I can see the deity, and he's very much present there, standing in the form of the deity. So it is easier for me to see him and to understand him. And that's why going to the temple is so important.
Mataji, this question is from Smita Mataji. Should we take conscious action which feels right? How to seek Krishna's help on issues?
See, Krishna's help, Krishna is always guiding us, right? Krishna is the first guru, he's sitting in our heart, but we don't understand. So we don't know who is Krishna, right? We don't even know. Today he's saying, I'm sitting in your heart. Till now, we didn't even know he's sitting in our heart, right? And not in my heart, in everyone's heart he's sitting. So Krishna is available when I want him, all right? So when I want Krishna, he appears. When I don't want Krishna, he hides himself. Krishna is not cheap. All right. Just like a rich man, I can't meet a rich man, right? It's very difficult. It's very difficult to meet the prime minister. So how to meet Krishna? So difficult. So when Krishna knows I'm sincere and I want him, then he is available and I can take his counsel even for my day-to-day activities. Okay. And so how do I then start talking to Krishna and, getting into a relation with Krishna? It starts, now we're reading the Bhagavad Gita, we're actually engaging we have begun a relationship with the Lord, and then also chanting the holy names of the Lord. When we chant the holy names of the Lord, we are crying out to the Lord. Okay, the names of the Lord are so powerful. Okay, so when I start chanting the names of the Lord, my heart, which is full of so many material desires, right now the desire is only I, me, myself. Okay, I only want to please myself, and I have no other desire other than pleasing myself. So I don't even want to please Krishna. I don't even know who is Krishna. But the holy names of the Lord is so powerful that when I start chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, when I start chanting the names of the Lord, this dust of so many millions of birth, which is there in my heart, starts getting washed away. Okay. And then I can actually feel the presence of the Lord, because right now it's in theory. Okay, Krishna is present, but I don't feel his presence, right? So when I start chanting, when I start serving the Lord, then I start feeling the presence. How do I start serving the Lord? The first process of surrender is to chant the holy names of the Lord. That's why everywhere Krishna says, in the 10th chapter, he says, I'm the chanting of the holy names. So we have to start with this. And otherwise there is no way. This is the beginning. The beginning of spiritual life starts by the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. So we have to chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. We have to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When we chant, then we slowly start establishing a relationship with the Lord. And then, one day it becomes so clear that Krishna starts guiding us. We can feel that. And naturally, when we're reading the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is instructing. The Bhagavad Gita is Krishna's love letter. It is Krishna's instructions for us. So we have to read the Bhagavad Gita and take the instructions from the Lord, not what my mind says, because my mind is crazy. It will say, do this, do that. So all the instructions have to be followed by the Shastras. We have to be guided by the Shastras. And that's what we are doing, So reading the Bhagavad Gita, chanting the holy names, we can connect with the Lord. And then, of course, in everyday life, Krishna is there to guide us. Why will he not guide us?
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, Vidika Mataji wants to know, why did Krishna chose the battlefield to impart knowledge?
And it's Krishna's will, so he can choose anywhere. He chose the battlefield.
Reganath Prabhuji wants to know, the soul is very small. It is as small as the tip of the hair. Who is the carrier of the soul from one body to another?
The soul is very energetic. Okay, the soul is very, very powerful. Right now it is trapped in this body. Okay, so that's why it's powerless. So it does not need any energy. It does not need food. We are eating, and we're sleeping, and we do all this, right? The soul does not need any food. It does not need any sleep. It does not need any rest. It does not grow old. So the soul is very, very powerful. Okay, so when we die, what happens is the soul immediately transmigrates. Okay, so it does not need anyone to take it out. It just goes off. Okay, it just quits the body. And then, of course, based on our karmas, the new body is ready. So I am deciding my new body by the everyday activity, every minute, every second, whatever I do, whatever I think I do, right? So thinking is also so important. What I think I do. And because of that, my karma is getting ready and my next body is getting ready. So, and immediately the soul just transmigrates to the next body. So I choose whether I want to stay on this earth or some other planets, or whether I can go back straight to the lotus feet of the Lord. So every day I'm given this free will and I do that. And who takes up the soul? The soul, because it's so powerful. The soul is very powerful. Right now it is powerless because it is trapped in this body.
Yes, Mataji. Manoj Prabhuji wants to know if the soul has a memory.
Yeah, the soul has a memory. Okay, so Krishna actually in the womb, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is written that when it is in the womb, right, when it is about to, before it comes out, Krishna gives it remembrance of the past 100 births. Okay, so you know how you have wasted your life. This, every day every birth we are wasting our lives, right? So, and then the soul says, Krishna, this is going to be my last birth. Please, I will surrender to you and I will serve you. Okay. And the moment it comes out, it forgets. All right. So the soul has this, right? So Krishna gives it its memory, for the past 100 births. In the body, in the womb of the mother, okay, and that too a pious soul gets this memory. Krishna gives it this memory. It remembers its past 100 births. So the soul has the memory. It is Satchidananda, right? It is eternal. It is full of knowledge. It is full of bliss. So it knows that. But the problem is when it gets trapped in this body, it forgets. All right. So that's it.
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, it's 7:25. Shall I
Yeah.
take one last question?
Yeah,
Mataji?
one last question and then we. Yeah.
Yes, Mataji. Karma is karma also, this is from Ashwini Mataji. Is karma also planned by Krishna?
No, karma is what we do. Okay, karma is Krishna is not. Krishna does not interfere in that. Karma, he's given me free will. See now, I can go to the liquor shop after this, or I can go to the temple. I am deciding. Krishna is not interfering. He gives us this marginal freedom. Okay, we are the souls, we are the jivas, and we have got this minute freedom. Okay, so he does not interfere in our karma, because that way everything I can say, no, Krishna, I didn't do it. I didn't drink. I didn't eat meat. I didn't kill him. I didn't steal. You made me steal. No, Krishna does not. Krishna does not make us do that. We choose to do that, right? And then we say, oh, Krishna, the Lord made me do it. No, that is our justification. So that's why we need to read the scriptures. Krishna has given us freedom. As a human being, we get this marginal freedom. Dogs, animals don't get this freedom. A dog has to bark. Okay. A tiger has to eat meat. All right. If you give him some vegetable, it will not eat. It can't eat, right? But I have a choice whether I can eat vegetables or non-veg. I can't say, oh no, Krishna, you made me, eat. No, you did not. Krishna did not make us eat. In the human form, it is a life of responsibility and freedom. Okay. When freedom and responsibility go hand in hand, right? Animals have no freedom. Okay. So that's why no responsibility. Humans have more freedom and so more responsibility. So I choose my destiny. I choose my karma. Okay, it is left to me what I do, right? I can read the Bhagavad Gita, or I can watch some Netflix, right? The choice is mine. So I am given this freedom in this human form of life. Dog, no. Cat, no. Okay, humans we have. So we are deciding our karmas.
Yes, Mataji.
One last question. Is human life the last? I can just read that. No, human life is not the last. And that's what we think. Once a human, always a human. No, I can come back as a dog. I can come back as an ant. I can come back as a plant. So this choice is there. Because if I lead a life which is like a doggish life, I get a doggish body. If I'm so addicted to meat eating, so Krishna says, why do you want to be a human? As a human, first of all, your body is not meant for that, right? And you have to go to the slaughterhouse, you have to cut it, and you have to get it home, clean it, and cook it, and then eat it, right? So why not become a tiger? Straight away tear it off, and nobody's going to be bothered. Also, if a tiger is eating flesh, will anyone say, hey, look at the tiger, it's eating flesh? No, they don't say that, right? So Krishna says, okay, anyway, you've just misused this human form of life. Be that. So human form of life form is not the last. It's the topmost form. From this form, I can either elevate to the spiritual abode, or I can fall down to the animal platform, or I can again come back as a human. All right. So this human form is it's the smallest window that I get to get out. Okay. I can go out to the spiritual world, or I can fall back into this material existence, or I can come back as an animal. I can degrade myself. So human form is a form of responsibility, and it's not the end. So I think we end with this. Yes. And thank you, Mataji. And we meet again in tomorrow's class. Tomorrow's class is all about karma. So, because Krishna said, okay, work for him, so how do we work for Krishna, right? So how do we work for Krishna? Krishna says that because working for Krishna is 24 hours. And right now we don't even know how to work 24 hours for Krishna. For us, even this 5 minutes, this 1 hour is such a struggle, sitting through this Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna is going to teach us that. Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.